Back on the SportsMax zone, and yeah, historic achievement for the Caribbean on Thursday night in Denver, Colorado. Jamaican triple jumper Jaydon Hibbert and St. Lucian sprinter Julien Alfred both walked away with the prestigious Bowerman Awards. The annual award has since 2009 been presented to the top male and female athletes in the U.S. collegiate track and field. At 18 years old, Hibbert became the youngest, first Jamaican and first ever freshman winner. The former Kingston College High School star broke a plethora of school, NCAA and age group world records while competing for the University of Arkansas, while Alfred, who represented the University of Texas, secured sprint double titles at both the NCAA indoor and outdoor championships. Late Trinidadian quarter miler Dion Lindor is the only other Caribbean athlete to win the Bowerman. He did so in 2014. Joining us to put into context the historic achievements by two Caribbean athletes, Leighton Levy, who is content editor at SportsMax.tv. And if that did not come out right, I was not saying that Leighton Levy is a Caribbean athlete. So let me get that out of the way. He's one of the Caribbean's best when it comes to analysis, though. Leighton Levy, first of all, how are you doing?
A former athlete, though, to be accurate.
Yes, former.
Yes.
Emphasis on former.
Just to be clear.
Well, clarity, so important, especially in this time and age. Leighton Levy, let's get to the meat of the matter, shall we? And talk about Julien Alfred and Jaydon Hibbert. I want to start with Julien Alfred because I felt her award and the reception of that award so much more emotional than Jaydon Hibbert, and it's understandable. She spoke about the many times that she was in tears in her coach's office. She spoke about the COVID period when she was stuck in the United States because the St. Lucian borders were closed, and she was emotional, she was crying, and her coach, Eldrick Florial, was also emotional and crying, and that moment stood out to me.
It did for me too, because one of the things, now that she's spoken about it publicly, I can too, because I had conversations with her during the pandemic when she was unable to go home, when she was forced to, not that it was a horrific situation in terms of where she was staying, but the fact that there were no flights out of the United States, and she was the only Texas athlete who was not able to go home. So she was isolated in real terms, and it really weighed on her heavily. And I think it may have even contributed to a lot of the challenges that she had going forward, because other than the injuries, she just was not mentally ready to be able to compete at the level where she wanted to, given the dynamic of what she endured during the pandemic. And she alluded to it in her presentation last night, even in the preamble before that. And it was, so, you know, it was a period of real growth for her these last 2 years. And she's manifested into what I think everybody expected of her, especially Coach Florial. In the conversations that I've had with him, he thinks very highly of her, and he believes that she's only just now at the tip of the iceberg of what she's going to be able to deliver.
And one of the things that she pointed out as well in her acceptance speech, when she said, I came to Texas at 17 years old.
A timid girl. I know she's a 22-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Growth, a lot of growth. And in her, when you look at what she's been able to do, even the year, I think there was a year, I think I'm trying to remember, it was 2021, where she ran 7:04.
Yes.
And I spoke with her, and in my conversations, it's like she didn't believe that this was something that she was capable of.
Yes.
Only for 2 years later to become the first woman in NCAA history to break 7 seconds. She did it 3 times. And in doing so, became the second fastest all time. Only Arina Privalova is faster. She zoomed past Shelley Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Merle Naughty to become the second fastest woman of all time indoors. And to prove it wasn't a fluke, you know, she goes on, she wins NCAA indoor titles, and she goes outdoors and then she delivers in ways which I think nobody expected, the dominance that she showed outdoors in terms of the 100 and the 200, an event that she admitted up to last night that she does not like. You know, 22.01 indoors is the second fastest time behind Merle's 21.87 as well.
Another significant aspect about the achievement is that she is the first ever non-American to win the Women's Bowerman Award.
Absolutely.
All of the previous winners were American stars.
American women, and of course,
including Shakira Richardson and Athing Mu and company.
Absolutely, and you know, it was a historic night in many respects as well, because other than Dion Lindor, no other Caribbean athlete I don't think even came that close to winning the Bowerman. Yeah. But from the context of the Caribbean, this was a Caribbean sweep.
Yes.
And that in itself is significant, because just like how Texas and Arkansas had the potential to sweep for their respective schools, this never happened, by the way, before. And of course, that didn't happen again last night. But the fact that you had two international athletes, both from the Caribbean, who won the respective awards last night, is in itself significant about the impact that Caribbean athletes have on the NCAAs, because over the history of the NCAAs using the Caribbean, you're talking about going back to Herb McKinley and Arthur Wint was in England, but Herb McKinley going through to Donald Quarry, Raymond Stewart, Merle Notty, Juliet Cuthbert. The line continues of Jamaican and Caribbean athletes, Pauline Davis, Otto Bolden as well, who have gone on to make significant impacts.
Obadeli.
And Obadeli Thompson from Barbados, well, yeah, to do significant work in terms of representing their schools at the U.S. collegiate system.
Yeah, and you know, I'm quite enthused about Julien Alfred's rise, because although St. Lucia has had some reasonably good track and field athletes in the past, Laverne Spencer, world level as a high jumper. Yeah, there was a marathon runner, Zephrinus Joseph, who had gone to the Olympics as well. We have never seen a St. Lucian sprinter, man or woman, achieve the heights that Julien Alfred has.
No, I mean, outside of the Jamaican athletes, I've said this repeatedly, outside of Jamaica's female athletes, she's now the fastest woman other than a Jamaican athlete in the Caribbean. Baptiste from Trinidad, 1083. Julien is at 1079. 1072 winded, but slightly winded. So you're looking at somebody who has been, she's achieving levels of performance that, should she eventually manifest them, win legally, she's going to be really dangerous as a professional athlete, now that she's gone pro. So, you know, it's significant in terms of her growth and her development and the consistency at which she's been able to perform over the past 2 years. And as I said before, Coach Floreal believes that this is just the beginning of what she's going to be capable of doing. And you've seen that, because she competes fearlessly. Even at the World Championships, when you saw she went up against the best in the world, the Shakaris and, of course, the Sharika Jacksons and the Shelley-Ann Fraser-Prices, she was right in the mix. So she's not overawed by the occasion, which speaks to the talent that she possesses.
Yeah, outstanding performer Julien Alfred from Leon Hess Comprehensive Secondary School in St. Lucia to St. Catherine High School in Jamaica, and then to the University of Texas. And who knows where else she goes on the global stage now, as she looks for international medals for her country, St. Lucia. Jaydon Hibbert, Leighton Levy, what a stunning year he's had. And you would have to say this award is a fitting end for what has been an amazing year. No world title, no world medal. He will no national nomination for the sports awards, but this one I think would have meant a lot to him given everything he did in 2023. Listen,
this award that he won last night is equivalent to at least the RGR Sportsman of the Year award, because what Jaydon Hibbert has been able to do at the age at which he's doing it. Remember, people like Jonathan Edwards last night, you saw him literally pass the baton on to him as perhaps the next world record breaker in terms of the triple jump, 80 meters, 29. You've seen this kid go on and set a world that is not been challenged for the entire year. 6 collegiate titles in his first year. He took 12 jumps to win those 6 titles. It's remarkable what he's been able to do. And had it not been for that hamstring injury at the World Championships, he may very well have added a world title to his accolades this season as well. He's been remarkable this season. And the big challenge is for him is, how do you replicate that season into this new season? Because how do you top? The only thing he can do is probably go to the Olympics and win. Yeah. You know, because he's been so outstanding. He's been dominant in ways which we've hardly ever seen a freshman athlete do at the collegiate level, regardless of the event.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to ask you a question, Leighton, because you speak to him a lot, and we interviewed his coach as well. And sometimes I wonder if he knows how good he is. I remember we spoke to him live in the studio last year in our SportsMax Zone show. And I just got the feeling that he was so humble and unassuming that I wasn't sure that he really realizes how good he is.
Listen, we had a conversation with Travis Tiger, his coach, after the NCAAs.
Travis Jeffert.
Jeffert, sorry. where Tiger come from? Oh, yeah.
That's USADA.
Yeah, sorry.
Not the same Leighton.
Yeah, no. And we had a conversation with him just a couple of days before the awards last night. And for me, the impression I get with him is that he's just having fun right now.
Yes.
And I think one of the realities that is still to come home to him is the talent that he has in that body of his, that's still growing, by the way, because he's gone through a couple of growth spurts this year, according to his coaches. So I don't think he's really grasped how good he is just yet. I think once he gets into the international field a little bit more, and I think, because he has the college crowd beaten.
Yes.
The best collegiate jumper after him is like almost a meter behind him. So I think once he gets into the mix with the senior athletes more, like the Tamgos and, you know, the Picardos,
yeah,
I think he will begin to see where he's at, because he said something in the interview that we did. Sense that he does not fully understand where his talent level lies.